one, 3 men. You see them?
Aye, what's the plan?
I'll move 15 yards over there and cause a distraction. Here, take this. You know how to use one of these?
A potato? Aye, I know how to use a potato.
That's a damn grenade, Finley. Get your head out of
I'm
here.
only joking, Sable. Don't worry, I can handle this.
Now is not the time for jokes, soldier. This is war. Wait for my signal, then blow these bastards sky high.
And what is the signal exactly?
You'll figure it out. Do I have to give you written instructions? Alright, they're getting closer. Let's do this.
Ah, stuffy git. This had better not get us killed.
Hey! This is a distraction!
Cut! What the hell was that?
What was what?
This is a distraction? That's not on the script!
I don't know, I figured some ad-lib would bring the scenario to life, you know? I don't see what's wrong with that.
Okay, I know you're used to running your lines a bit off the cuff, but this is a serious scene. People are gonna feel taken out of the scene if you don't do this right. But I'm okay with the little improv. All right, let's run it again. And this time, let's have Finley give the signal instead. That might make it feel a little better.
Works for me.
Works for me.
All right, reset to 1. And action!
Halt. On my one, 3 men. You see them?
Aye, what's the plan?
I'll move 15 yards over there and cause a distraction. Here, take this. You know how to use one of these, right?
Aye, I'm no stranger to tatty mashers.
Perfect. Wait for me to move behind that tree and give me a signal before you throw that thing.
All right, the signal is soup.
Okay, sure. Let's do it.
Noodle soup! I mean soup! Damn it! Ah.
Cut! What in the name of Joey Tribbiani was that?
Yeah, I know, that was my bad.
Oh, no kidding. You fucked up your own improv. Come on, guys. I need you to focus here.
What do you suggest then?
This time, I want you both to picture yourself in your favorite video games or TV shows to really bring this moment to life. Something gritty. Something realistic. That goes for everyone! Really bring your A game this time, people! All right, let's give it a go, shall we? Reset to 1. And action! I said action!
Kept you waiting, huh?
What?
Finley, I need to know where I can acquire a PSG-1 sniper rifle.
I used to have one, but then I took an arrow to the knee. Now my last won't let me have it back.
Like, zoinks, man! There's like a bunch of bad dudes over there, Scoob!
Rurro Rabel?
Take this Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator. I'll go hide behind that tree and distract them. Then wait for the earth-shattering kaboom!
Get over there!
It's a me, Mario! Yahoo!
I'm hit.
Triple kill!
We interrupt your regular programming to bring you breaking news. Director Josh Greenlane has passed away after suffering a heart attack this evening while on the set of his latest dramatic war film. We go now to Chuck Lee Bard, who is on location with the latest.
Thanks, Dave. I'm on the set of Rescuing Corporal Brian, where reports have come in that esteemed director Josh Greenlane has passed away while directing a pivotal scene. Sources state that the actors decided to take the scene in their own path after some questionable direction from Josh himself, to the point where he was unable to make heads or tails of the situation. Those on set also claim that the improv acting was, quote, difficult to put into English, and will most likely make this movie, quote, the most tolerable entry in the series to date. That must mean it is a sight to behold. Beside me, we have one of the 2 actors who are portraying the scene, Graham Fracker. Graham, can you tell me what happened here tonight?
Well, we were filming the scene as normal, and Josh suggested that we put ourselves in the shoes of other characters to try and draw inspiration and really make the scene shine. It was a bit abnormal, though. I've never worked with a director who had such a vague idea of what he was going for, where he would allow his actors to go off script so much.
And what characters were you thinking of at that time?
Sorry, I would rather not discuss my work. Non-disclosure agreements and all that.
Understandable. What happened next?
Well, then he died, Fanny Boz. What do you think happened, you fucking Egypt? What glacial sort of question is that?
Whoa. All right, we're on the air here, buddy. There you have it, folks. Poor direction leads to tragedy. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program, Cold Read, a voice actors podcast.
Oh my god.
Yes, what the hell? Okay, I'm gonna assume that we're good. Oh my god. You fit like every single meme that has been on this show.
I was gonna say.
I told you.
The
it was
memes
gonna
were
be
strong
my
with that
best
one.
yet.
I'm crying. That was fucking amazing.
Thank you.
You should compile these somewhere, Zamoody.
I'm planning to. Yeah, I'm gonna start clipping these out and just putting it right on the YouTube. So for those of you that are here, welcome. A good afternoon to those of you that are here live or watching us on YouTube or listening to us anywhere where you can get your podcast. Welcome to Cold Read, a voice actors podcast. The intro we just heard was marvelously done by the Road to Eldurrino, who's above me if you're watching. Well executed. I heard Burnham. I heard Ravenmane. I heard a lot of
Didn't
good
hear
stuff.
Pashley.
Didn't
Just
hear
saying.
Pashley. Yeah, that's true.
Renara.
Oh my god.
I-
It's fine.
I have plans for you two for another time. So
Oh.
Yay.
yeah, I came up with this scenario on Friday with my girlfriend, and then I just started writing, and that's what it became.
Wow.
And
I'm
yeah,
shocked to
I
hear
don't.
Burnham just swear so fluently.
Okay, so I've decided that with my intros from now on, I want to showcase voice actors mostly individually to show what they can accomplish.
Yes.
Burnham was my victim this time, and so I was talking to him beforehand. I was like, "What are some characters that you're good at doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I can do like the Nordguard from Skyrim, and I can do this and that." I'm like, "Can you do Scooby Doo? Can you do this, that?" You know. So yeah, we talked for a little bit, and then I just tried to help accentuate the stuff that he can do, and he did an amazing job. And the ramble at the end, I didn't write that. That was all him. It was. I put in the notes. I was like, feel free to make an elongated ad lib, whatever makes it funnier, and that's what he gave me. And I was like, this is incredible. I have to use this. So yeah, there you go.
Well, if you would all please do me a favor and stop setting the bar so damn high, because I know it's my turn for next week, and I don't know what I'm gonna do now. So I may need help.
Pushing each other to do better each time is what we're doing.
It's so crazy. So as we do every week, first off, yeah, great job, Burnham, great job, Ravenmane. You did excellent. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch, I'm sure.
Good job to you too, Zamoody. You took up like a minute, 2 minutes of material.
Oh my god, yeah.
Don't sell yourself short.
Me being in there yelling in the booth, just that stuff was a lot of fun in itself.
Yeah, your part was amazing. It was exactly what I was looking for. So thank you very much.
No worries. But yeah, let's check in on the other side of the world. So Renara, how was your week?
I mean, I've been stressed for no reason. Well, no, I do have a reason. There's only one reason, but I don't feel I should be stressed about it. In the sense of, I've officially started production on chapter 1 of The Assassin in the Desert.
Woo!
That's happening,
Nice.
and everything. I mean, maybe that's what's stressing me out, but it is officially in production, and it's kind of the main reason why I haven't been doing any auditions recently. It's like I'm putting all of my effort focusing on this now. So I think it'll be just weekly updates of how that's going rather than auditions
sure.
Gotcha.
for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the VAs have given me some fantastic work, which I would love to showcase at some point. But like, I'm head down doing what Matman did, sort of like head down in the burrow, like just editing
Right.
in the middle of the night sort of thing. So that's where I'm at. But other than that, I mean, I'm trying to enjoy my Easter holiday, but I have this bad habit of not being able to relax or sit still for more than an hour. So
ADHD.
So I always have to be doing something, otherwise I will go out of my mind. So that's where I'm at currently. So yeah, so stressed but fine.
Well, super happy to have you on, and I'm glad you're a little excited to be on the episode. It's not stressing you out to be here, so
No, this is
welcome
the
aboard.
anti-stressor.
Yeah, excellent. Pashley, how was your week?
Bananas as usual, trying to not lose my mind. So we've gotten through the week. I haven't lost my mind.
Nice.
So Brian left yesterday, and he went home to check on his apartment and hang out with his friends who he's been friends with for like 20 years. And so it was kind of weird. Like Luke went out and went, Brian, because he does that, to Brian, like that's their interaction. He's like, oh, he's not here. It was sad, but Luke and I went on a nature hike today at our local. It's just like this really, I don't know how to describe it. It's this like little diamond in the rough area of trees and nature in this very densely populated area that I'm in, and it's only 5 minutes from my house. And
it's a magical grove that is near your house, so
right. And we got to like look at the tadpoles. Like they just dumped a huge amount of tadpoles in the frog pond, and hiking down the hill and I'm like, sunshine, fresh air, please, more. So, I'm in a good mood. But anyway, yeah, that's my week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I really have been enjoying Resident Evil.
Yeah, we saw the
enjoying
TikToks.
fucking with me on Resident Evil.
You want to give a shout out to the program that you're using for your audience?
Yeah, that's Dixper. It's a naughty sounding name.
Yeah, totally is.
But it's very much like Streamloots. I don't know if Streamloots directly interacts with the game quite as well as Dixper does, but like it will literally put something on the screen. It will freeze you in place, which a few people did while I was fighting the nemesis. It's stressful. They can send noises, etc., etc. It's been fun interacting with that. Raven Main has also had some chef's kiss
moments.
Amazing plays with that. So it's just a fun way to interact with the streaming and get your viewers engaged. So
very nice.
It kind of sounds a lot like in certain games that are speedrun, people like to implement what's called a chaos mod, where Twitch viewers basically vote on a random thing that will happen, and then it happens in the game. That, oh my god, if you ever watch GTA 5 or GTA speed runs that are chaos mods, yeah, it becomes horrible when you get stuck on the same thing for like an hour, but it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that's that like I enjoy. I'm a streamer who enjoys the interaction with chat. I love hanging out with people. I like passing time with people. So it's a natural fit for me. So anyway,
Definitely.
Awesome. Eldurrino, how was your week?
It was pretty good. So I went into the beginning of the week dreading it because at my normal like 9 to 5 job, my coworker is unbearable.
Gotcha.
To put it lightly. And she's been working from home for the past 4 months due to her being afraid of getting COVID. Well, she got her vaccine, and one of the people that works for the county said that she should come back. Nobody wants her back. And so like so I was getting kind of stressed out, like thinking she would be back in the office and everyone's going to be like freaking out again. Well, my boss eventually was like, I'm just going to tell her, like, you can continue working from home and we'll just bring you in when we need you. Because she says that she prefers it and she get a lot more done and whatnot. So it sounded like a win-win for everybody. And so, yeah, so she agreed to it. And so that was good. I don't have to worry about that now.
Okay.
So over the course of the week, I got time to do some auditions. Unfortunately, about 3 of the 5 that I did, I screwed up because I wasn't paying attention, apparently. Like, I wasn't in the right mindset. And so I'd already moved everything back, and I was getting ready to do the editing process. And then I was like, oh, I made these mistakes. Like, I missed a word or I mispronounced something, whatnot. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's whatever. I submitted what I had. and then I left out the ones I made mistakes. But I will return to those probably tonight if my voice is feeling up to it. Speaking of my voice, on Friday, I was cast for the part that was that singing bit that I featured a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It is for I think it's a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game. So it's officially my first paid role.
Woo!
So very excited for that.
Delayed Phasmophobia for like at least 20 goddamn minutes for it.
Oh, is that what happened?
Not sorry, because I'm not making money in Phasmophobia. Not real life money, anyways.
Right.
So I discussed that with him on Friday, Saturday. After listening to the song a bunch, I went in, started recording, and everything was good. I really liked the way that it's sounding so far, but then when I woke up this morning, like my throat was really sore. It could have been a couple of things. Like I didn't do any good vocal warm-ups. I recorded my bits for today's intro prior to that, and I figured that would have been a good enough warm-up. But a lot of it is very guttural sound. So
right.
So I really pushed myself a bit too hard, I think. And so it's either that or I like slept with my mouth open or something like that, or a combination of the two. I don't know.
Or you're dehydrated.
I actually chugged a ton of water yesterday. I probably went through about 6 bottles during the recording process. So
I was going to say the water messiah does not get dehydrated. But
I was about to say, yeah, you are speaking to the water messiah.
I know.
True.
Had to be said though.
Yes. No, understandable. So yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm trying to take care of my voice the best that I can, and then I think later on tonight I'm gonna try and get some recording done, whether it be auditions or working on that project. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, this week overall has been pretty good.
Glad to hear it. My dogs are going absolutely nuts in my background, so apologies. That's the problem with about noon is the house starts waking up, people start moving around, and the dogs will start going like, ah!
I'm sorry, I live in the UK.
Yeah. So for the most part on my side, it was a busy week. The work has been a little tougher than usual. Oh my God, I'm gonna... didn't really get to do much in the way of voice acting and auditions up until like about Thursday. And then I decided to jump into voices.com. And I ended up doing, I think like 5. I have one of the auditions loaded up because I do want to talk about it. I got 2 gigs on voices.com.
Nice.
Congratulations. I
got a commercial, which is the one that we're going to hear. It's for a Korean-based app. I'm sure it's going to be one of those Instagram or Facebook commercials. And then I got an impersonation gig, which is really weird. And I'll talk about that when we talk about our topic for today, because there were certain directions and things that we went to. But yeah, I got two more paid gigs. With this, I'm like $4 short from paying off the voices.com membership, which is a milestone for me, because now I don't feel so bad about spending the money to get in there. And it's so weird to get 2 in 1. So,
yeah.
Because my ratio was like 365 auditions to 1 cast, and it just dropped down to like 116 to 1.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm getting reviewed now, so this is my second. I've got second 5-star review, which is super weird. Yeah, so
nice. Very cool.
Yeah, so it started really weird and ended up in, and also like Pashley, I will also note on Friday, my wife and my oldest got their second vaccination. So as a family, we went out to a restaurant and actually ate and had people serve us food. How weird is that?
God.
I know, right?
It's been almost a year and a half.
But yeah, that was pretty much my week. So
congratulations.
I know, right? Thank you. So weird. So a new feature that I want to introduce, and this is perfect because I'm going to go yell at them. I feel like our vocal production expert is underutilized, so I want to make sure to.
No, your vocal production expert is kind of being a bum about.
No, so I want to give a little time, and we're going to call it Pashley's Casel.
Yeah.
Casel.
Casel. So
I'm gonna get my son to record that.
Yes!
And send it to you.
Yes, and I
Please,
get to
please,
play
yes.
every time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My
So
son could be a voice actor. He's incredible.
Yeah.
He's anyway.
you've got all the equipment for it, so why not?
I do. I
Yes.
do. I'm
So we'll do a little
surrounded by,
jingle, and then Pashley's Castle, and then we'll go from there.
I love it. I love it.
This is what happens.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think we could probably just start with, Eldurrino saying, I woke up with tenderness and, and I think the most important part about the vocal care side of it is being aware of, he's already said like, I didn't really warm up that well. And assessing your voice, not in the way of like you're stressing out about it constantly, but like if you can still, you're actually better off continuing to use your voice even when it's tender, because the more you use it, the more blood will go to area of inflammation, right? The only time you should completely stop is when your voice, your cords are so swollen that you cannot phonate. Phonate is the act of this,
Right.
the cords coming together. If you are unable to make a clear sound, then shut it down. And the only answer for any of that really is rest in water. Raven Main can chime in whenever he wants because he's a resident expert too, I would imagine.
Right.
So, but like I would definitely, here's another term I'm going to throw at you is semi-occluded vocal exercises. And semi-occluded means not coming all the way together, because occlusion would be completely closed.
Yeah.
The semi-occluded exercises keep your cords moving, but don't create contact. Just for some perspective, they move a lot faster than you think. And at high C, which I don't think anybody here would ever be singing, all people present, but at that pitch, your cords come together 1,000 times a second.
Oh my!
Is that
Yeah.
the note that Kesha hits in praying?
No, it's a little higher than that. Her note is a high F. The Queen of the Night note is what.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I tried, but
me too, and it didn't work. So as much as you can, when you're warming up, just keep the cords moving, but not contacting.
Sure.
The better off you are. So
Can you,
semi-occluded.
Can you give an example of that?
So my favorite one is the lip trill, and I tell like my voice students that, and then they go practice it, and people look at them weird. Their families look at them weird, like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But like, it's so interesting. Like
To watch the camera.
I'm watching the camera, and it's
like
slowing it
slows
down.
Because of the refresh
frame
rate.
rate.
I know. It's great.
No, my old vocal teacher taught me to do that as well. So I'm just sort of like going, oh yeah.
But there's also the other thing you're learning when you're doing that is just how little effort you have to put into your vocal production. Because a lot of people, especially on the singing end, people feel like they need to really bear down to make more volume and to do all this. And I'm like, it's actually just a matter of manipulating your instrument and using it to its best rather than yeeting yourself. So that lip trill is super good for teaching you how much breath you need to use in any kind of, and on any note. If you're learning a phrase, a singing phrase, but doing scales and in the lower part of your voice is very, very helpful to getting it back to normal.
And I can also see that exercise helping a lot to loosen the lips, because when you're recording, it's very important. Raven Main brings up interesting. Raven Main says, puts on vocal hat. There are a ton of things you can do if your voice is feeling fatigue, but no remedy is a replacement for rest.
Yeah, that is the absolute truth right there. And honestly, if there was a remedy to replace rest, you don't really want it unless it's in the extreme. I cite Julie Andrews as a great example. She formed nodules, vocal fold nodules, which are basically blisters because of her overuse. And when she was getting her vocal surgery done, it was when it was very new and not proven, so to speak. So she ended up getting a lot of scar tissue.
How
And
does
anything.
one know if they have nodules or not?
So you would have to go in and get an
Endoscopy?
Laryngoscope. No,
Oh.
not endoscopy. I was thinking the wrong, but it's the same direction, but down the larynx.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know,
That
it's the
way,
same
not
procedure.
the other way.
Right. Not colonoscopy, laryngoscopy. They can either send the camera up your nose if you've ever had it done. It's really unpleasant. Or this is where it gets giggity. They stick a rod to the back of your throat and tilt it down.
No, sure.
And so they can, and they'll
Yeah.
strobe. So basically, the effect that the camera is putting on my lips is what they put on your cords because of what I said before about this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they strobe it, and then they can see, you know, the movement of your cords. They can examine like the structure, color. Like if it's red, obviously they're inflamed,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Is there a
So-
different of like if someone has them and they don't know it? Is there a telltale sound that kind of like can you hear it in someone's voice, or is it?
It's a little more obvious in a singing voice than it would be a speaking voice, but it's
Okay.
generally like breathiness is the big one because air escapes
Right.
because the nodes are getting in the way of this action here.
Right. Yeah.
So for voice actors, it's probably not as big an issue, and even for some singers, it's like Bing Crosby had vocal fold nodules of all people,
Okay.
and
Wow.
nobody ever did anything about it. I guess he sang through it, but anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, do you think vocal fold nodules would be?
I think it would affect the dynamic range of a voice actor if they had to do
Mhm.
like more shouting, and then they had to like if they had to go from that and try to do whispering, and have
Mhm.
that inflammation might inhibit the range your voice can do after a certain amount of time, which then
Yep.
could affect your performance if you have a long-term gig per se. So
Right.
if
Sure.
you end up doing this one voice for long enough, and then you develop those nodules, and then it could stop you from being able to continue that role, which
Mhm.
nobody wants to do. No one wants to
Yeah.
not do.
Sure.
I only ask because I have no idea whether or not I had nodules as a young child, because I did singing a lot, and I kept singing, and then it got to a point where anytime I was doing my higher range, it did get breathy, and I couldn't reach that high note. So I was kind of going, do I have nodules or not? Because I mean, I never.
Yeah,
despite the free healthcare, never went to it.
Damn it. Well, no, but it could be a couple of things. Like, I mean, the loss of range and inability to sing quietly up higher is a
Yeah.
big thing. Like, you have to, if you have to yeet yourself to get up high, then maybe something to think about.
Yeah.
But there's also the technical question too. And if you're singing as a kid and going through puberty, this is a whole discussion, right? The discussion of hormones.
Right.
I mean, that can also affect it. Like your voice sounds like it's in an alto range, a lower range. So
yeah, fine. Yeah.
there could have been a change there. So yeah, maybe.
not
And
sure.
women don't finish going through like your voice. The female voice doesn't settle until like 21 or 22. Hormonal
I'm
wise.
past that now.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And then, you know, us older ladies, me, like we're gonna go through another vocal change when we go through menopause. So it's
Oh, grand.
so you're so beholden to your body with the vocal stuff. But yeah, tons of water and rest whenever you can. Doing the hums and the lip trills, humming low in your voice too helps a lot.
Right.
I think there was a piece of advice that I remember. I don't know if it was said to me, but I just sort of remember it offhandedly, in the sense of a lot of people who perform on stage would usually rest their voice like for an entire 24-hour period before they would go on stage, just to like avoid talking, avoid any use of it until they have to warm up and then use it for a performance. So maybe could that be taken forward for voice actors, would you say, in the sense of if there's
because it depends on the load you're putting on. I mean, if Eldurrino, and that could be applied to post recording. I'll make the story quick. I had a voice teacher who she was singing something that was very obscure for the University of Maryland. It's a Schumann oratorio. I won't go into it, but not a lot of people knew it, and that's important for what I'm about to say. So she got very sick with pharyngitis and was not as able to sing clearly, and she ended up going to a doctor to get a steroid, a something injection into her muscles.
Yikes.
And it was still fucking brilliant, but she's like, but I didn't have anything going on for 2 weeks, so I was able to just chill, because anything with steroids you gotta be super careful, right? So yeah, it can apply to after too, and maybe don't do these marathon days if you can help it. You know, know your limit.
Yeah.
Because
So.
I mean, because the only thing I can sort of attach to this is that when I was doing Skywind, they had attack lines completely separate. So I would do all of my main lines first, and then anything that required a higher, like a more dynamic range, I was like, right, I'm just going to do all of those 30-minute chunks, just yelling at the microphone and hydrating. So I mean,
absolutely,
that I would say that would be a good. I would say take that as a way to move forward for that one. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say that doing like hard style or metal style vocals for many years now, you'd think I'd learned my lesson about warming up. But I don't. And so,
well, life is life. Life is life.
Right. Right. You know? And like, I figure that recording lines prior to doing that, it like Renara had just said, where you kind of block out a segment of time where you just record normally. And then you have that segment of time later on where you kind of push your voice. I figured that, you know, by doing that, that I would have been okay. But I don't know, I was really kind of forcing my voice to be as basically as like gritty as possible because I want it to be a very good performance. I'm very, I don't know, anal about my work. So
perfectionist is what it's called.
Yes, or that. I'll never mind. I was going to say something really derogatory. Yeah. So, anyways, so yeah, I really, I overexerted myself. I know that. I know I could have done some warm-ups prior to doing those. That would have really helped because like most of those lines, you know, that I was doing in the intro were kind of like in the lower range, and I feel like if I had actually done warm-ups to kind of go up and get my voice used to like when I sing higher, I'm really exerting more energy into my singing. So I think like if I had decided to warm up a bit more in my upper range, I would have had less issues the following day.
Yeah, so it's like exercising. You know, you reduce injury when you're stretching. And
yep, exactly. I did want to say too, in regards to the vocal fold nodule issue, in regards to it affecting your voice acting, I feel like if it's like certain roles, well, most roles anyways, you need to have a good tone to your voice, you know. I feel like you'll notice that if you are developing those, like you'll notice that your tone is not as clear anymore.
Okay.
Like even in my voice now, like you can tell there is like a certain raspiness to it.
Yeah.
It's not as like my voice isn't naturally it's not like naturally like a full tone comparable to like Pashley's voice, but you can certainly tell that now because my vocal folds have been, you know, pushed over their limit, that it's a little rough, a little raspy and gravelly and whatnot. So I think you'll
you exhaust a lot quicker when you have nodules too.
Right. Okay.
True. Right.
So that's, but yeah, always consult a doctor.
Absolutely. I was going to say that. Good. Yeah.
Always consult a doctor. They're the experts.
Take advantage of the free healthcare you have, Renara.
Yep.
And for those of
that's if all the GPs would actually go back to their surgeries and stop hiding from COVID. But that's a rant for another time.
You mean we can't just take Pashley's, you know, non-medical advice and then sue her later if she's wrong?
But I wouldn't.
5 years later, when my throat is bleeding and I'm dying, it was all Pashley's fault.
God damn
it, Pashley.
Yeah, always.
One day I'm gonna do an intro like that and then play. No, it's fine.
Oh, and we were talking about this before, like use the using things like drinking tea in your lemon, honey. Wow, lemon in your tea, honey in your tea. They're not meant to be like immediate effects. Like you're not putting lemon on your vocal folds. Honey is not coating your throat. Like these are all like very flowery things that people like to say, especially singers, because we're flowery people. It's not how it goes. But the slippery elm, honey, and lemon do assist in reducing inflammation and contribute to your vocal health. And you know, you are also consuming more liquids.
Hashtag not one.
Hashtag not sponsored, but like it's a throat coat tea is something I swear by. We were sponsored by Vocal Zone, not us, the podcast, but when we did Encore, Vocal Zone is a company in the UK. So Renara would be able to get her hands on this immediately.
Nice.
But, but they have really good lozenges and all sorts of stuff. And I'll put that in the chat.
Yes,
Right.
please.
I feel like that stuff, like you said, you know, it's like when you have a cold, you know, you take cough drops to help lessen the symptoms. It doesn't get rid of the underlying issue, you know.
Right.
Just the same way throat coat tea is not going to get rid of the issue. It's just going to help lessen the effects of it for the time being until your body can naturally heal itself.
Yeah.
And following chat, Ravenmain says, regarding nodes, they can 100% develop to a degree wherein you cannot phonate. I know an actor who had this happen to him while he was doing a straight, non-musical play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's the other thing that this will be the last thing I mention because I don't want to get too in the weeds with this, but there's also a thing called vocal fold hemorrhage where you bust a capillary in your vocal folds and then there's a bleed. This happened very recently. Adele, Sam Smith, and this is purely an overuse. It can happen to anybody. There's a famous opera singer by the name of Denise Graves. It happened to her. Another famous opera singer, Cheryl Milnes, he had a vocal fold hemorrhage underneath his cords, and nobody found it until a lot of damage was done to his voice. That's another but the sign of that is you will not be able to phonate. Like you will just suddenly lose your voice. Whereas like with nodes, you're like, it's a slower breakdown of your voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Hemorrhage will just, you lose your voice. So that's something to look out for.
Okay.
Ravenman again at PrincessPashley. It sure did not. He had to go to an excruciatingly long vocal rest. I'm talking more than half a year. Oh my God.
That's nuts.
Because that's you don't want to be slicing and dicing and the very fragile areas. So if you can take the time, take it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the risk is very, very great for creating scar tissue. Scar tissue basically acts like a leaf in a pond. When the sound waves go out, the leaf distorts it. Those waves. That's the best description for it. And you don't want that on your cords, and surgery increases the risk. Anyway, I've been ranting.
No, we love it.
Good stuff.
Love it. This is
this
great.
Content?
This is content. Absolutely. But thank you so much for that. Was our first Pashley's Castle.
Pashley's Castle.
But we'll move on. We'll move on to the main topic. So the main topic for this particular week that we did want to talk about is recording. Eldurrino and I recently had directed sessions. We're going to talk about recording in the booth with somebody in your ear. Renara and Pashley can weigh in more on the Audacity side stuff, tips to help on that particular area. So who would like to start?
You.
I will start. So last particular week, I did something because when we recorded, there was a flub, and let me tell you, if you're in the booth, there's a particular either a control word that you can use that'll help you figure out where it is.
Word?
For me, it's pickup.
Yeah.
So if you hear me ever say pickup, it's me basically marking a spot because I know what the wave file looks like when I say it. That I can just go it and I can remove everything else. So it's super quick. If you have an audio engineer, if you ever get to that particular point, they're actually looking for that word too. So you can either designate it in the future, and I know some other people use a clicker. So before they start their
interesting,
and then it'll move. They know that that's a spot that they want to get rid of. So that's my absolute first tip. In regards to actually having somebody, and it's funny because this morning I had like a 2-hour session with somebody in regards to one of the dubbing projects that we're doing. You have to be ready because you have your character in your mind and the director has their character in their mind. You have to be ready to let go of your idea and embrace what the person in your ear is telling you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's very hard for some people to do because they focus and they want to do it this way. but it's their project.
Right. Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, and like the only director's session I've personally had was with Matt Mann on his ancestor lore video.
Yeah.
And yeah, going into it, the character was given to me as like as a swine monster essentially. And when I think monster, I think very grotesque voice, something that is like hard on the ears. But before we got in there, he told me just use your normal voice. Like I don't want anything special. I just want your normal speaking voice. And I was like, okay. And so he sent me the lines ahead of time. And he said, if you want a directed session, just let me know. We'll set up a time. And as I was going over them, I was speaking in my normal voice, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. It sounds, I don't know, it's not dramatic enough, essentially. It's because my voice can go from low to high in an instant. And so when I got into this session with him, I decided to just try like keeping it in the lower register for the most part. Not a whole lot of variance. If you watch the video, you'll hear that a lot. Like it's very, very down pitched almost. I forgot where I was going with this. Okay, so so like he had written out the cues in the script as to how he wants the voice to sound. And for the most part, I nailed those pretty well. I wasn't happy with my own performance when I was in there, and so I ended up going back and re-recording them. But there was one part that I had mentioned a week or two back about a more informative portion, and Matt Mann had mentioned this, that he kind of wanted it to be like a Morgan Freeman type thing, where it was more explanatory, almost like a documentary. And so I started recording it, and I stopped halfway through, and I was like, I don't know what exactly you're looking for, like. And so I asked, do you want more of like a nature documentary, or do you want like a war documentary or historical documentary? He's like, yeah, I want something like that. And so I was like, okay. And fortunately enough, like my dad growing up watched war documentaries all the damn time. I'm very used to hearing the voices in there, so that really aided me a lot. And so basically, I just went through that one paragraph, and he was like, yeah, that's perfect, exactly what I'm looking for. I was like, cool. Yeah, that's it.
So I mean, obviously, if you're using somebody else's booth, make sure that you leave it in a better condition that you found it. It's super important that if you're recording with other people in the room, you don't just focus on the director. Audio engineers are super important. Make sure that everybody's treated equally, that you say hi to everybody, because believe it or not, you can actually get work from the engineers or the people that are editing your audio, because they're working with other people too, and they may find that somebody needs help. So super important on those particular parts. Now I know, Renara, you've had a lot in regards to the Audacity side.
Yeah, well, I was going to tack on to the thing of I've actually done live direction for one of my VAs.
Oh, yeah, by all means.
I've done this sort of thing because I've known this guy for a while, and he just wasn't comfortable doing it on his own. So he wanted me in his ear, listening to what he was doing whilst he was recording, and then he kept asking, like, if there's anything you want, just jump in at any point. So I spent a lot of time just sitting and listening to what he was doing. And then once he'd stopped, I was then, right, I liked this. Can we try something like this? Because I'm one of those directors where I love variety. Give me more. Just give me as much as you can. Show me what you've got. So I will let a VA just go at it to start with. And then if there's something that I'm like, let's just try a little thing. Like, for instance, he wasn't getting the I think there was one line where he was holding this girl with a knife to his throat, and he pushes her, and I wasn't getting that. So I was like, okay, have you got your tripod near you? Yeah. Right, pick it up and throw it. And he did. Like, he's like, right, I'm going to throw it on the floor. And upon that, just giving that little extra idea, it was like, yes, this is good, this is good, this is good. Couple more times, and there's always that one rule of it, when you think you've got it, do one extra. And it's just those little bits and pieces by having that voice in your ear gives you those ideas to go, oh, this is something else. Because then at the same time, there's the whole thing of I have my vision, he had his vision, I let him do his vision, but then I was like, let's add this, let's try this, let's improve, let's make it, because it's a team effort really, at that point. So, and sometimes someone else's idea might help improve your idea. At least that's where I come from in that regard when I'm directing stuff and that jazz. So I'm always open to listening and hearing, but I do have my idea, and yay. I'm rambling again.
No,
God
you're
damn it.
fine.
You're fine.
You're fine.
You're not
My
rambling
goodness.
at all. This is all good information to know.
But yeah, no, I always offer the same thing as like Matt. Like, if you want a live session from me, just DM me. I will find the time. We will do this. We'll like, my main philosophy as a director is if we're not having fun doing it, then why do it?
Right.
And so I always go into one of these sort of sessions going, right, how are you feeling? What's up? Are you okay? Is this a good time? Are we okay? We won't stress too much if you're a bit raspy or whatever. And it becomes, at that point, it's me and I'm working with this person at this point. And I want to help them get the best performance that they can give for this project that is going to be something that for both of us at the end, because they're going to use it as part of their show reel. I'm going to use it as part of my like production vault stuff. So at the same, we, as a director and a voice actor, we both have the same want of making this thing the best we can. So rather than if there are issues in the sense of we're just not getting it, I will sit down and go, okay, tell me how you like, what is this character to you? Describe to me like what they look like, their personality. I want to know exactly what you're seeing, and then I can go, yes, no. You're like, then I can then just sort of check off, going, yeah, that's right, that's right. And then just fine tweak those areas where I'm like, well, this is how I see it. Can you see that? Can you like, are we vibing on the same wavelength here?
You're reshaping the image in their head based off of what you're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then once you've got that reshaped, it then makes the performance a little bit easier, because then you're not having to like completely pluck things out of midair, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That is all I have to say on that. Audacity, on the other hand, I have some other things I can say.
So real quick before, because when it comes to the director, the one thing that you want to keep in mind is, you keep going. You say your line, you pause for a second, and do it 2 or 3 more times, because for the most part, they want that machine gun action, but don't do it exactly the same. Change your speed a little bit, change your emphasis a little bit, change the emotion. And you're showing your range, just like what Renara just said. You're showing your range of what you can do, and then the director's going to go, okay, the second one was good, give me 2 more of that. And then you'll poof, and then you go from there. So that's kind of what you can expect when you get in there.
Yes, basically. Except if
Stupid light.
except if because I mean, Zamoody, have you had any experiences of people waffling?
Yeah.
Waffling.
I have had the interesting experience of when a director kind of just sort of goes on and on and on and on, and you're going, okay, I'd like to, I'm gonna do it, but I can't do it whilst you're talking to me.
Right.
Sort of thing.
And you know, it's funny, because earlier I was in one of the final castings for a particular program, and I had that type of director that would, like, before he would even let me take a shot at it, he would say, I want you to do it, you know, I want it to sound like this. And it's like, that puts me in such a corner that I can't really get out of, that it makes things difficult. Yeah. And on the other side is, you got those talky directors that you'll be in the booth 40 extra minutes that you don't even need to be in there for. And it gets hot, and it gets uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a
Bring your
shower
water.
when I was done this morning.
So I would say just sort of look out for if your director is waffling, just be I'd say just be polite and go, okay, cool, I have an idea, let's go from it here, and don't be afraid to be the take that step forward. I'd say and go, okay, cool, I have an idea, let's do this, let's try this, and I'd say try and incorporate as much of the team aspect as possible, because then it's not putting someone down, it's okay, let's keep going, let's both do this, we're working on this, let's go.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I started finding the words, okay, I'm ready to try, would redirect everything back to where we wanted to go. So keeping, because they're people too, and they want to explore and they want to talk about this stuff.
And sometimes,
That can apply to bosses too.
Yes.
yeah.
I want to acknowledge Burnham in our chat. Getting instant feedback has definite advantages over waiting and fretting over submitting the first attempt at a part of a director. Yeah, I completely agree. Don't work on those talkies. They kind of killed Buster Keaton's career. Oh my gosh.
Poof, I don't know who that is. I feel terrible.
But yeah, so the other side of it is of course Audacity, and Audacity is one of the programs we use. I know you use Audacity. Dorino, you use.
I use Ableton, mostly because I come from music production, and it's just what I feel most comfortable with because of producing music. But I mean, you can really use whatever you want. Just be aware that when it comes to recording and editing, that each program is going to have its pros and cons for certain. I notice, like, so Zamoody, for you, since you use Audacity, when I got your file yesterday, I noticed that everything was normalized really well. I did not have to really do any type of level adjustments whatsoever to your audio. I basically just I set a compressor to it, so that it said if it goes above certain decibels, it will flatten it out right there. But for the most part, it was really level. And I know that Audacity does have a really good like normalize filter that you can pass over your audio, and it comes out really fine. Ableton doesn't have quite the same thing, mostly because it's used for like live performances. I like it mostly because of its ease of use. I cranked out that entire thing in the process of like 6 hours of editing. Just going, putting everything together, editing things the way that I wanted them, whatnot. And honestly, like looking at it, it looked like I spent like a week on it, but I didn't have to. I can drag and drop things easily. So it's all about whatever you feel most comfortable with. Some of them are a lot more complex than others, so they're going to take more time to learn. But at the same time, like once you get past that point, then they become really easy to use, kind of like Ableton, where a little complex to begin with, but once you get it under your belt, it becomes super easy to use.
Gotcha. Now, Renara,
Microsoft Apple. What one do you want to? What one you're comfortable with?
Right. And just to throw another one out there, keep in mind Reaper is free.
True.
And it's another.
And if you have the Adobe suite, there is Audition. I know Diesel Weasel knows how to use that. And I feel like the Adobe programs, like once you learn one, the other ones kind of become more intuitive.
I think Audition is the one that the file cutters, or at the very least, I know that the people in Skywind use it. For that sort of thing. I think it's mostly for the file cutters, so they can see the waveform really crisp and clear. And sometimes Audacity can. You have to really zoom in on that. That one flaw with Audacity is you do have to zoom really far in to actually see like the waveform completely. But I have like a list of lots of things I could talk about when it comes to like recording and stuff. I was prepared for this,
and this is great because I was going to say we heard some of your first editions, and we're going to hear more of them in a little bit. But you really were able to edit that and make them cleaner. So is that kind of like what we're looking at?
I have a list of things list of effects that I swear by when using Audacity. They are bass amplify, bass and treble, fade in, fade out, something called filter curve, noise reduction, normalize, and my reverb. Anyone who's looked at my channel knows I love my reverb. So actually, I'm going to talk about the bass and treble thing first, because that's what I use for your audio, Ashley. Pashley, goddamn.
Reverb, huh?
No, bass and treble, because Pashley, your lines, all of your audio comes through with a lot of bass. You have a lot of
really.
bass.
That could be my audio setting.
It's that SM7B.
It's
Yeah.
the SM7B.
So in order for it to not sound so not jarring, but so juxtaposing against everyone else's, what I do is if you've recorded something and it's too bassy, you can add treble to that. So then you can balance out that that what you call it, scale of it. I don't know. So whenever I get your audio in, Pashley,
it's always a formula, right? You want to get to a certain level.
I add about 4 decibels of treble to yours to make it sound to bring it back up to where everyone else
call the effect of Pashley.
There's a Pashley filter preset. You're good.
Amplify is always good, because not only can amplify it loudens the audio, but it also helps when doing noise reduction, which when you amplify stuff, it'll amplify the noise. And then once you've got that subsection, because noise reduction requires you to take a select section in Audacity, have that as this is what I want to get rid of. You then highlight the whole thing, and you just press noise reduction. You can then adjust the sensitivity on how much smoothing bands, so basically coming in and out of the ranges. And I think, did I say sensitivity? Let me get it back up. Where'd it go? Sensitivity, yeah, there's the actual decibel reduction, the sensitivity of it, and the frequency smoothing. I often find, especially for the stuff I do, that I have the noise, the decibels at around 9 or 10, the sensitivity around 10, and the smoothing bands at like 11, 12, 13, because if it's such a hard cutoff between that and when you talk, you can sometimes tell. And sometimes it can take bits out of your talking as well. So that's why I try and keep the bands as have it higher on the smoothing bands than it is, so that when you get rid of a lot, it doesn't seem as jarring when it comes to listening to it. Now, last thing I'm going to completely waffle about, and this is something that I recently learned because I was having trouble with pops and everything, and just having it was driving me up the wall. I'd spent like 2 hours recording an entire chapter, and I was like, I'm not re-recording this for the second time. This isn't happening. So I was like, okay, how do I get rid of these? And so I found that there is a feature on Audacity called Filter Curve. And what this does is, I think it's similar to how audio music people levels, I think, in the sense of it has the decibel scale on your left-hand side, and it goes from 30 to 0 to -30. And what they tell you to do is that at the from between 20 hertz to 100 hertz, you have that at -18. And then from 100 hertz to I think that's 400, you then have this slow increasing slope, basically. So it'll kind of look up, flat, like that. And what that does, if you just select where that massive wiggle is, where you have that pop, and you apply that to it,
Whoa, sorry, hold on.
it will get rid of it.
Say it again. Sorry.
What happened?
No, I was actually playing with the filter curve, and something came through because when it previews, it actually listens to it, and I wasn't expecting it to do that.
If it's a breath noise as well, like if the microphone's warbled and it's breath noise, it can get rid of those too. However, it will dampen the bass of that section of recording. So what I do is I do it once, add bass a bit more, and if there's still a wiggle, narrow my section to just that point, do the filter curve again, and then bass a little bit, and just sort of adding to basically smooth it out as much as possible. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, so it's not a fix all, I would say. But if you have a isolated pop that is sort of like either at the beginning or at the end of, like when you say like step or if you do like something beginning with a P,
Mhm.
it's a godsend. It will help with that. So
Can
yeah,
I just put an idea in your head, Renara?
go for it.
Have you ever considered putting any of this up in YouTube as a tutorial?
No, because I don't think anyone would want to listen to
I'd
it.
love to see that.
I would watch it every single day because
Exactly.
that's okay. So what you described there in music production is known as EQing. It's basically it's taking certain frequencies and either boosting them or lowering them. Yes,
equalizing. Yeah. There is a such thing as an equalizer, I think. No, there isn't such thing. I was going to say it's in my actual video editing software. I can do that in Sony Vegas because I'm poor. But yeah, I forgot I had that. I need to use that.
Look, even chat. Look at chat. Even Burnham says, "I need these tips."
Okay. So maybe I should do a video for my YouTube channel, just going, "Hey, this is the thing." Okay, I'll do that at some point then.
Well, yeah, because I notice, like with my own voice, I have a pretty large overbite, and so my S's come out with a whistle sometimes.
Oh, it can get
drives me absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So using EQs like that, where I could hone in on that certain frequency where the whistle comes out, and then basically just cut it out almost completely, would save me having to go back and recording it or having to move my mouth differently to avoid that. So yes, I know you have a YouTube channel. Highly recommend that you do that, and then give me money once you start making it.
Yeah.
I'm on 120. I'm on 123 at the moment, so I have some people that
More than me. You're good. And I'll add on to Eldurrino and say, because I mentioned half my face is frozen. You'll notice my eye closes sometimes if I move my mouth. I tend to have also kind of a wetness when I'm talking, and it's because of the way that everything is wired. So if EQ would help that out, that would be awesome.
Also, I don't know what that is, but
somebody vacuuming.
My neighbors are drilling into the wall.
Oh my god, that's what that is.
All right, well, it's time to wrap up the episode anyway.
Keep going.
Fine, I'll keep it for the video that I do.
Keep it for the YouTube.
Yes.
Exactly. You can't divulge all your secrets in a live performance
Don't
thing.
blow your load on us.
Fine.
So we'll hold the auditions for the next week because we are running up against time. What's that? Miskatonic. Oh crap! I just got here. Did you forget that we start at noon, Matt?
God damn it!
Yeah, we changed it. It's an hour ahead or earlier.
Yeah, an hour earlier now. But
so that Renara is not a zombie by the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
And also, it's not like, oh, I gotta go now. So
yeah, exactly. Like I have to go. Yeah. No,
yeah. But I mean, this has actually been a great episode. Pashley, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great. Yeah.
Yes.
Pashley's Castle is officially a thing.
Pashley's Castle.
Wait, should I make a YouTube video too?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Do you know there's so many people that are starving for this information? These tips definitely do help. So just don't forget to mention that you mentioned it first on Cold Read Voice Actors Podcast.
Yes. I'll take 10% of any profits you make.
Yeah, suck it.
No. I need the money.
But yeah, I mean, we've covered a lot in this particular one, and I mean, we had Dorino's absolutely awesome intro, so just that just made us absolutely worth it. So, thank you so much.
Our expectations have suddenly increased.
Oh, and it's my turn next, so I'm already.
You will do 100% fine.
I'm already really worried. I just need to do a Pashley special, which is like 3 hours before the podcast. Grab somebody and go for
it. Last minute Pashley.
Oh man, you know what? Okay, for my next one, I should have Liddy come down to my house and then basically just rip off Pashley's intro where I have Brian come into my room.
Brian, what?
No, it's more like Brian. Who?
What are you doing here?
Wrong house.
But yeah, I think we've covered a lot, and I hopefully this will help everybody who's listening. And again, if you have any questions, if you have an audition for us to that you want us to listen to and give constructive feedback, don't be afraid of us. Or an idea for a topic, email us at coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. We have a Discord that's available too. If you want to come down to Twitch, you can message me on Twitch. I'm just Zamoody, Zamoody. Any questions, give it to us. We have a good network. We have a lot of support here. We are here to help, and we are here to help each other. So, yeah, by all means. So, next week, I believe that we may be short a person, so we'll see what we can do about that. We'll talk.
Oh yeah,
Raven
I'll
Maid?
be here next week.
No, we already asked. Raven may not be available, so we'll see what we can do.
Damn.
Grim's always available.
True
Grim is
enough.
always available.
So keep those auditions going. Don't never stop. Always put yourself out there.
Keep going. And
Yeah.
don't forget to have fun.
And until next time, we'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.
And cut.
Bye.